Hello and welcome to In Our Community. My name is Liz Holtz and I will be your host for today's show. Today my guest is Thomas Appling, who is an outreach coordinator with Job Corps. Welcome, Thomas.
Thank you. Welcome.
I'm excited to have you on the show. Job Corps is a very interesting program, and I know that a lot of our viewers will be very interested in the show, both parents and young adults as well. So I welcome you to the show. First of all, let's start talking about what is Job Corps?
Well, Job Corps is a career training program, a technical career training program for young adults 16 to 24. And it's actually been around for quite a while, over 50 years. It's run by the Department of Labor, so that's our tax dollars in action to help young kids get work in good careers.
That's wonderful. And you mentioned that this is through the Department of Labor. This is actually a federally funded program.
That is correct.
That is available to kids that meet the criteria between the ages of 18 to 24.
16 to 24.
From 16 to 24. And these programs are available to them at no cost.
Yes, that's the best thing about it. It's absolutely free.
That's wonderful. And there's actually a federal law that puts aside the funds for this as well. I believe it's the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act of 2014.
That is correct.
That provides the funding through the Department of Labor.
Yes.
So can we talk a little bit about who is eligible for programs at Job Corps? We mentioned that it's kids between the ages of 16 and 24.
Yes.
And do they have to be a U.S. citizen?
Yes, they have to be a U.S. citizen or they're here legally. We do have refugees. There are other situations, but by and large, as long as they're here legally, they can get into the program.
Okay, so they could be from a number of different demographics. They could be somebody who is either a political refugee, somebody who has moved here and is on a visa. As long as they have the right to work in the United States, would be potentially eligible for your program.
That is correct.
And part of your criteria is an income criteria.
Yes.
And how does that work? Where do those figures come from?
Well, anyone that's receiving any kind of state aid would automatically be eligible for Job Corps. We have a lot of young kids that are on school lunch programs, for example. They would also be eligible for Job Corps. So if you're receiving any kind of aid currently, but as long as you don't come from a wealthy family, we would love to have you come down and see if Job Corps is the right fit for you.
Okay, all right. And then you, in addition to, families with young adults and stuff that are perhaps low income, you also take a number of other types of demographics, including kids that have dropped out of school, kids that are runaways, kids that are maybe foster children that have aged out of the system. As well as homeless and young parents as well into your program. Yes,
and the idea is we want to be able to help those disadvantaged youth that are looking to get into careers, jobs that are not minimum wage, and I think Job Corps provides a perfect vehicle for them.
Yeah, I agree. I find, the things that Job Corps does very impressive. One of the things that you offer a number of, academics as part of your program. So you help kids learn, and improve their reading, their math skills. You teach them living and employment skills, how to do an interview, things like that, so that when they go out to work in the public, in their new job and stuff, they know how to apply for it, they know how to interact with other people, work with coworkers. You also help them get a high school diploma or the equivalency?
Yes, and so we want to teach them whatever they need to learn in order to become employable.
Okay.
And so for a lot of kids, that begins with getting a high school diploma. So if they need a GED, we can help with that. If they need English language skills, we can help with that. If they need a driver's license, we can help with that too.
That's wonderful. Yeah, because I understand your campuses even offer driver training and, assistance with getting their license, which is a wonderful thing because In some areas, it's easier to get around on public transportation, and then there are other areas, as we know, that you really, really need to have a license to be able to get around.
Right, and we can also help with transportation as well.
So one of the things I wanted to do is talk to you about some of the different trades programs that are available through Job Corps, and not only on the San Jose campus, which I understand San Jose campus has quite a plethora of programs, including culinary arts, facilities maintenance, office administration, retail sales, advanced transportation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, BART system, we have a lot of different transportation hubs that they can get involved with once they learn the basics.
Oh, wow, that's very cool. And then security and protective services, as well as material handling and distribution. And then I understand that not only at the San Jose campus, but at other campuses, you also partner with other learning institutions in the community to provide specialty courses, if you will, or training for programs that you don't offer in-house.
That is correct. Things like computer technology, IT. There's a lot of healthcare and construction. We partner with organizations that provide that particular style of training so that our students can learn that particular trade.
So it sounds like kids coming through the Job Corps program aren't just, cubbyholed into a selection of 2 or 3 different things. You must do this, this, or this,
No.
chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry.
Right.
And stuff, but they have a wide variety of programs that they can choose from.
This is true. Actually, we have, Job Corps has over 100 different trades that we train in through our 125 campuses across the nation. So just about anything that a young person would want to learn, you could either learn that direct trade through Job Corps, or that would be a stepping stone to where you ultimately want to go.
That's really wonderful. And Job Corps now, I know you have a campus in San Jose. You also locally have one on Treasure Island, as well as one in Sacramento. But as you mentioned, there are 125 campuses across the continental U.S. as well as Puerto Rico and I believe Guam. So if someone wanted to get into a particular trade that wasn't available locally, would they then be able to take that training through another Job Corps facility? Yes.
Once you come and you go through our interview process, we determine what your skills and the type of things that you'd like to get into. We assess what your trade is that you want to learn. Then we would match you with a campus that provides that training. And if it's on the other side of the country or wherever it might be at one of our 125 facilities, we would arrange for you to go there. And of course, this is all free of charge.
Wow, that is really impressive. And, I understand, for example, you also offer some advanced courses. So, for example, with the San Jose campus, I know they have a culinary program. And then once kids go through the culinary program there, they also have the opportunity to go through an advanced culinary program up at the Treasure Island facility.
That is true. And we have a fine dining restaurant there at our Treasure Island facility. So they will get the kind of hands-on training that would enable them to go get a job right here in the Bay Area, which has some of the best restaurants in the country, and get a job.
That's really cool. And is the restaurant at the Treasure Island facility, is that open to the public?
Well, not necessarily. It's primarily for training purposes, but I've eaten there many times. It's very good.
Oh, okay. Just curious, because it's like some people go over to Treasure Island to go to the outdoor fair there, the flea market and stuff. And hey, if you can go get a gourmet meal somewhere, that's always a good thing too. So, what is the average stay for someone that signs up to go through the Job Corps training?
Well, Job Corps is a self-paced program, and it's an open enrollment and open exit program. And that simply means that we don't have a starting period like September through July. You start as soon as you get your start date, you move through the program at your own pace, your own ability to learn, and then you exit once you have learned enough to be qualified to work in that trade. So it's an open entry, open exit opportunity.
Okay. Okay, and it sounds like it's very much self-paced.
Yes.
So someone who's a fast learner might go through a program in, say, 4 months.
I would say 8 to 10 months.
Okay.
It would be the fastest.
And then someone who maybe was a little slower learner, needed to wasn't quite grasping things as well, might take a little longer and be in the program for, what, 12?
Up to 2 years.
Up to 2 years,
yes,
wow.
and if you take our advanced courses, you could be there even longer than that.
Wow, that is very, very impressive. So now, let's talk a little bit, what's life like on campus? I know, San Jose has a beautiful campus, and you have, kind of academic and technical training for the students during the day and stuff. What are the kind of what's daily life like on a Job Corps campus?
Well, in the morning, of course, they're taking their classes. In the afternoon, they may be doing some hands-on training. And in the evening, after they've had their dinner and everything, some people choose to study. Others choose to take advantage of the facility. Some of our Job Corps campuses have swimming pools. All of them have recreation centers, computer labs, video games, you name it. And some of them even have intramural leagues where they play basketball and football and stuff. So there's lots of fun things to do, and we are constantly providing other activities, even off the campus activities, going to the movies or going to a concert. So it's a lot of fun for the kids.
That's good. That's good, because that that encourages them, they can have an enjoyable life. It kind of gets them used to, a good work ethic, that gets rewarded and stuff. So, and I also understand that you also provide all your students with a number of benefits and stuff, such as health care.
Yeah, we have a wellness center on all of our facilities. This would enable us, if they have some type of medical need, that we can provide that for them, as well as some counseling is available. So it really just depends on what the need of the individual.
And then they also get full medical, dental, and optometric coverage.
That is
programs.
available, yes.
Oh yeah, and stuff. And students whether students live on campus or not, and stuff. I also understand, you provide your students 3 square meals a day, plus they also get a weekly living stipend.
Yes, and the room and board is part of what we do to try to provide that environment of learning, so that they don't have to worry about, what am I going to eat, when am I going to eat, and how am I going to pay for it. They can focus on their learning at that time. Also, just about anything that they might need, Job Corps pays for that. If they need clothing, we do have a dress code, so we will provide that for them. We do provide a stipend, so they have a little bit of pocket money should ever they need it.
It's always a good thing.
And there's also milestone awards. So as they make it through the program, different milestones, then they are rewarded certain dollar amounts depending on how they progress through the program. The idea, again, is at the end, we want to be able to put some money in their pocket to help that transition from Job Corps into being their own person working in the community.
Out in the real world. That's wonderful. So now, one of the things is that we've been talking about life on campus. Now, do all of your students live on campus?
No, some of them are what we call non-res students, and they live within a 15-mile radius or 30 minutes of travel within. And those are students that may be working in the evening. They may have a family that they go home to, and so as long as they're close enough to the campus that they can get back and forth, we leave open a certain percentage of our applicants to actually be non-res students, but primarily they live on campus.
Yeah, and I also thought it was really interesting because, one of the things you do with non-resident students is that if you have young parents that, are trying to learn a trade, and they have a child and stuff like that, that they can live off campus with their family, with their child, come to school during the day, And I know at least the San Jose campus, and I imagine many of your other campuses, provides childcare for their child free of charge during the day while they're there learning.
Yes, there are some campuses that do provide childcare, and that's a wonderful thing because we have a lot of single parents, a lot of young people who could really use that help as they're trying to learn their new career.
So Neil, you mentioned that you have a dress code. So are these uniforms, or is it just kind of a generic, blue jeans, white shirt?
Well, for the most part, it's what they might be wearing in their career of choice. So, if you're in the medical field, you're going to have a white
lab coat that you're going to wear during your training.
And if you're working in the painting lab, you're going to have all the painting gear on and stuff. So it's whatever you need in that particular. But yes, we do have a Job Corps, a dress code that you wear all day until your day is over.
Oh, okay. All right, very cool. And I thought it was very interesting, as you mentioned, is that whatever equipment they need for their job. So, for example, if somebody's learning welding skills, and they need steel-tip boots, and stuff, Job Corps will provide that for them as part of their training.
That is correct.
Which is just really a wonderful thing, because as we see a lot of kids that perhaps aspire to go to college and stuff, they can get free tuition, but then they have to pay for the books. And where do you come up with $600, $700, $800 a quarter for books because they're frightfully expensive? So Job Corps offers some really wonderful alternatives for kids to be able to get some skills, get some training, kind of get their feet, square on the ground and stuff before they really go out into the world.
Yes, a lot of hands-on training, a lot of internship opportunities. They'll have plenty of opportunities to shadow people who are actually doing this line of work, so they get a feel for what they're getting themselves into.
So they get a little bit of a tast of reality, if you will, by being out in the real world and working, with other people in a training situation, almost like an apprenticeship. Would that be correct?
We have that as well, yes.
Very cool. So, Neil, what happens after kids go through the training and they're done? I understand you have some services that assist them as they move on from there.
Yes, we call it CTS, which is Career Transition Services, and we want to help them, prepare them before the end of their time with us for life in the real world, as you call it. And so we want to help them to get their resume together and help them to practice their skills of job interviews. And and we have a job placement assistant that will help them with that as well. But also, once they get out, they might need help getting an apartment or getting a new car or learning how to budget their money. So whatever the need might be, we want to help make that transition as smooth as possible.
And you mentioned career counseling, and part of it is that kids may have gone into a program in another area, for training and stuff. So part of that counseling, I believe, also includes like relocation. So if people are kids get out of the program and they're looking at where are my most opportunities for the field that I want to work in. So for example, somebody who may have gone through like welding program may decide, hey, they're building a pipeline in Alaska where I can go put my skills to use, get great pay. How do I make that transition to someplace I've never been?
And our job placement system would help them with that. And there's opportunities all over the country, and so we have people that are coming from other places, just like we have people from here that are going other places, and we certainly want to do all we can to make that transition an easy one for them.
So I also understand as part of that transition process, you actually give them a stipend that they can use to kind of, get them on their feet and started in their new life and stuff, which I thought was a very generous thing. I mean, here you've not only paid for their program, you've, fed and housed them, during this whole thing, given them some pocket change. And then when they get done, it's almost like they get a graduation bonus.
That's exactly right. And isn't that wonderful to think that you are given everything that you need to get through the program free of charge, and when you graduate the program, now you're going to get that bonus amount that you can put directly in your bank account that can help you get that car or that new apartment, or to help you before that very first check comes in.
Right. Because as we know, when you start a new job, it's typically a 2-week period you're working, or sometimes even as much as 3 weeks, depending on how the pay periods are set up, before you ever see a penny. So and that could be very challenging, especially for young adults, that are just really getting started in life. And of course, here in the Bay Area, we know how atrociously difficult that can be.
Oh yeah.
And I also understand that Job Corps will help with students when they come out of the programs to get them into supportive programs as well. So your counselors work with them to get them set up for different social services that they may be qualified for while they're going through this transition.
Yes, and we have we have relationships with other organizations that provide dovetail services to help again with the transition. We don't just leave them after they graduate the program. We're with them for up to a year afterwards, checking in on them, helping to make sure that that they are achieving their career goals.
I understand. Like some of those things, you'll help them, get hooked up with, like, for example, healthcare and housing and any kind of legal advice they may need, especially if they're a refugee or something that's coming out of the training program. Certainly a lot of people that are here legally and that have the right to work are still finding that there are some challenges coming up politically for them these days. So it's great that you help them get connected to other agencies and other groups that are able to assist them in the transition as well. And you mentioned that you have a transition specialist that continues to follow up with them for almost a year, which is fabulous. So now, what about kids, that get out of the program and, for example, maybe have studied information technology, they've gotten a basic certification, and they decide, I really like this. Boy, I want to learn how to do some code and do some other things. Now I want to go to college. I've been inspired. What do you do with students that now want to move on to college? Do you have a way to assist them into that?
Yes, we do. And we assist them. We have relationships with community colleges and local colleges. There are some online colleges that we have a relationship with that will allow the student to begin that process while they're with us. So about maybe 15% of our students go on to a higher education through Job Corps.
That's impressive. So, considering, other programs and stuff, to have 15% of your students, go through the program and then go out into the work world, be supporting themselves, and then also take on, going to college as well at the same time. Because that means that you've given them the skills to basically take care of the core basics of their lives, while they make continue to improve themselves and stuff, which is just a fantastic mission that you've accomplished.
And that's part of our 75% success rate. So we're very proud to be able to help that many young people go on to either higher education or to start work in the career of their choice.
So now, if parents or young adults want to find out more about how to sign up for Job Corps, what do they do?
Actually, there's several things they can do. One, we have a national website, so you can just go to jobcorps.org and get all the information about our 100 different career trades and the 125 different locations we have. But for those that are here local in the San Jose area, at our San Jose campus, we have a orientation that takes place every Thursday morning, and that's an opportunity to find out everything you need to know about Job Corps and how it works and how it might work for you.
So they can actually come and visit the campus, take a tour, sit down with, I assume, an intake counselor or somebody that helps them determine, do they qualify for the program, what potential interests they have, what kind of skills they may be interested in learning. Do they go through any kind of assessments as part of that?
Yes, and that's all part of the process. We want to show them the facility, we want to give them the information, and we want to help to determine what types of things they might be good at so that we can find a trade that would fit their skill sets.
That's wonderful. Also, online they have the information about the different things that are available. If someone wanted to get a hold of someone locally, do your other campuses here, like up in Sacramento and Treasure Island, do they also have open house orientation?
Yes. Again, it's on Thursday morning. If you arrive there about 8:30, you're there plenty of time, and that's a great opportunity to see the campus and talk with one of our admissions counselors.
Wonderful. And can you just let us know, are there any other things that you'd like to tell us about Job Corps?
Well, just that I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of young people who are looking to not just find a job, but to actually begin a career. We don't have minimum wage jobs. We have really good paying jobs. We have associations with unions, which would enable you to get started at a higher wage than what you would without. We have some programs that pay as much as $69 an hour.
Wow.
So
it's a far cry from the $10 an hour minimum wage.
That's right. That's right. Now, of course,
not bad for entry level.
You got to put in your time, and if you come with a serious attitude, you're ready to start your career life, Job Corps is a great opportunity, a great place to start.
That's great. So just wanted to, again, let our viewers know that if they want information, they can go on the Job Corps website. And what is that address?
That's www.jobcorps.org.
Okay. And that is for a federally funded program that's funded by the Department of Labor. So, and again, you have 125 campuses across the United States and in U.S. possessions that students can, potential students, I should say, can choose from. And over 100 different types of career training available through the Job Corps program. So thank you, Thomas, very much.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful to have you here on tonight's show.
Thank you for having me.
I hope that our viewers will take advantage of the Job Corps programs and check it out. And I'd also like to thank them for tuning in to today's show and thank our staff for their assistance as well. Thank you.